What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. Yeah, normally I go on Fridays, kind of get on, and I've been just, I've been kind of focused on comics with my wife and kid are set to leave for Japan. And as you know, I have a little bit of a project. Um, the project is to work part time this summer while my family is gone. Um, and use all the money I make toward comics. That's on top of $400 that we already have in terms of our budget, which today is, I think, the second. No, today's the 1st of June. So officially, hey, what's up, Miss So? Thank you. Yeah, hopefully I can keep you company. What are you having for dinner? Hopefully something delicious. But yeah, just I have okay. So the project is to work part time this summer, use all that extra money to pour into comic books, and by my initial calculations, um, that should be about $2,000 on top of the $400 we have. So we're looking at around $2,400 to work with. Now that doesn't all come in at once, because I'll be getting paid probably, every 2 weeks or so. Um, maybe even possibly every week. I have to kind of check with um, my supervisor. But good news on the biggest part of that project, which is to actually get the part time work. And I was able to land the job. I got the offer this week. I just need to attend some training and report for my first day of work this month. So that may be as early as this Saturday, which is like the day after tomorrow. But I'm still waiting to hear from my supervisor on when that schedule will get confirmed. But looking forward to it. It's a pretty decent job. I'll be working in downtown. Um, it's a concierge position, so we'll just be interacting with like residents, and again, just need to be kind of there at the desk, greeting people, taking packages, and kind of monitoring like security situations. And so it's a pretty, I think, um, it'll keep me busy. It's not like terribly difficult, and it's something I know I have confidence in doing. So really looking forward to starting that, and putting my entire effort into that, and having a fun summer working, and getting to meet new people, um, and getting some experience in that role, and hopefully just again forming those relationships that can lead to possibly other opportunities down the road. But for now, it is part-time work. I am going to be still focused on my main work week job, and but pretty much it looks like my schedule is going to be uh, 7 days a week for the foreseeable future. So again, a big part of that equation, a big part of the project uh, has been confirmed now. So as long as I'm you know showing up to work, doing what I'm supposed to, and attending to people's needs, um, It should be rather uh, rather straightforward. So yeah, uh, excited about that. So we got that big piece of the puzzle out of the way. And as I mentioned before, this is June. I have access to start spending $400. I could blow it all right now on one buy. $400. Should I see should I see that as an option? I've already spent $25 uh, of that 400. um, and like I did it. I kind of jumped the gun. I didn't have access to the funds, but I saw some things on eBay that I just wanted to, get. One being an auction, and we'll go into the auction win. The other being sort of an offer I sent out to see, and the person accepted. So that second purchase, and I'll go over what that is, but just give me 1 second, real quick. Now, you know what? I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that when we get that book. So stay tuned for that book. That book will be coming very soon as well. I just got the notification that the USPS has received the package. So it's on its way. It should be here by, I would imagine, the latest Monday. So I'll probably be back on here Monday night or Tuesday or Sunday, whenever we get it, and we'll unbox that. But like I mentioned, I got two. I made two purchases off eBay this week. One surprisingly arrived today, and like it got here real quick. It was here in a matter of days. I think I ordered this on Monday or Tuesday, and it arrived today. And the second book I ordered, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. And again, I got the confirmation today that it's going out. So it could get here. Who knows? The way USPS has been delivering things, it could get here as early as Saturday. So I'll reveal what that book is when it comes. And for now, we're going to unbox this. This is one of those two books I ordered off eBay. So this one cost me $17 with like shipping, tax, the book, $17 total. The book I'm getting possibly by Saturday or next week. I spent a little over $10, like $10.30 something. This is 17 and change. That book is also 10 and change. So we're looking at like $27 that we spent on two books. And normally, again, I don't pick things up off of eBay. I shouldn't say normally. I picked up a lot of things off of eBay, like, as I'm sure many of you have as well. But recent, hey, what's up, Agu? What's up, dude? Glad you can drop in, man. Hey, are you going to SummerCon? Let me know if you are. I'm going Friday, so if you're going that day, let's plan up on meeting up there. Are you going to SummerCon? Anyway, let's get to this book, okay? Let's get to this book. When are you going? Are you going Saturday? I bet you're going Saturday. That's the day to go, actually. Hey, what's up, Comp Ben? Glad you guys can join. So we're gonna unbox a package here, and I mean, it's not a big. Again, I spent $15 or sorry, $17 for this. I won it off an auction for 17. I don't think I got necessarily a deal on this. It's not like I think I paid what it's probably worth. And to be honest, in hindsight, I don't think I necessarily needed to get this book. Um, and we'll go into the reasons why. And um, like that's the thing about. I think it. I think what I've realized is even the fact that like I was kind of like maybe I should wait to do this unboxing um, when the other package arrives because the other package is set to arrive. It won't get here later than Monday, right? So I was kind of like, maybe I should wait and unbox both of them when they arrive. But I definitely have an impulse control problem. And, when I get something like this, I just want to open it and, be done with it. Like, I can't, it's one of those things I just can't wait. Oh man, this guy did it. I mean, I appreciate the taping job and all that, but sometimes tape can be not a good thing. Just to, hopefully this doesn't. All right, that's not so bad. I mean, I guess overall it's a good packing job. I'm not gonna complain. It's just I'd complain if I damaged the book in some way, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like, so as I mentioned, I knew the condition of this book. It wasn't going to be like, um, I would say it's in an A5 range. And given that fact, I think I paid exactly what um, it probably is worth. I do like the fact that the person put it in a very nice Mylar bag, so they did a good packing job. So that is nice. And again, this is I believe I don't know. It's around. It is probably better than my. No, I'm seeing. I'm seeing issues that don't necessarily make it. It could be. No, with that little corner crease, it's a 7.5 for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's comparable to the grade I already have. So, but that doesn't matter. So this is the book I got, and it's a double. I already have this book. I got Crisis on Infinite Earths, newsstand edition. And you're probably asking me, hey, why did you get this book? I'm kind of asking myself the question as well, because there is a tiny, can probably see it right there. There's a tiny corner crease. I knew that going in. When I bid on it, I knew that going in. There's also like a spine tick right here. Pretty noticeable spine tick right there. And there's also a little corner. I don't want to call it like a crease, but there's like a color break there in the right there. You can see it there. Okay. Other than that, it's pretty clean. The corners are sharp. I know the back is very clean. They may have pressed the book. It looks like the book is pressed, but looks really nice. Overall, again, I would put this in the 8.0 range. Could be 7.5, could be 8.5. I mean, we're talking about this little corner really being like a minor issue. So, but that's going to knock it out of the nines for sure. So that right there by itself would be an 8.5. But then you add those little color breaks there. I'm thinking this is in the 8.0 range. Potentially 7.5 as well, which puts it in the same class as what I already have slabbed. So it's not like I'm going to get this slabbed to try and upgrade this. The reason we got this book is because I want to get signed by Mark Wolfman. And that's the only reason we got the book. So you don't have your tickets yet, huh? Well, consider going Friday if you have time. But I understand, you probably got work or something. So if you go Saturday, Sunday, that's cool. We'll just hang out on another time. I am planning to go to Ancient. I'm probably going to go to Ancient sometime during the week. Leading up to SummerCon. I'll be going on a weekday though, so let me know. Well, that'll be hard to coordinate. I'll hit you up with a text. All right, Agu? All right. Anyway, so why did I get this book? Yes, I got the book because I want to get this signed by Marv Wolfman. And what that means is this copy is now for sale. And I know the price I want this for. So, I mean, it's not a great price, but I'm currently selling this 7.5 copy newsstand for $100 or best offer. And I'll probably post this on Instagram as well. But again, it's a really nice, the reason it got a 7.5 is because it has like 2 corner issues. But other than that, it's really clean. Again, white pages, clean back. Just got 2, like if you look at the bottom corner there's a little bit of a corner. It's not massive of a crunch. And then here in that corner there, you can also see like a corner issue right there. Spine is really clean. I mean, it really, if you look at the book, it actually is better than presenting than this book, to be honest. Which leads me to believe this could probably, I don't know, the corner issue on this is, the 2 corners on this, this one is kind of equivalent. Yeah, I think this one looks better, to be honest. This is probably in the 7.5, 8.0, 7.5 range as well. I don't think I could put that one at an 8.0. Just got some issues. But anyway, once I have a signed copy of this, um, I don't think, it becomes redundant. I'd prefer to just keep my signed copy raw. Um, and this slab copy can go to a new home. Again, really nice, presents really well. Um, and just, I'm looking to just kind of make my money back, with, the slab fees and everything. Um, I think, well, actually, I just want to get fair market value for it. So putting this out there for $100. If you're interested, hit me up, send me a DM, and we will wheel and deal. Also, if you want to trade for it, um, I'll be taking like 125 in terms of trade value. 100 in cash, 125 in trade value. So let me know if you're interested. All right. So those are some, that is kind of what we're looking at for the Marv Wolfman signing. And I'm just going to go over some, um, kind of what I'm thinking about. So, like I said, I have a second book that's on its way, and we'll reveal what that book is. That book also happens to be a double. Okay, that book also happens to be a double, and we'll again reveal that book when it gets here. And we'll kind of share what we intend to do with that book. Now, that book is definitely going to go with us to SummerCon. But I'll share when I reveal that book, when we get it, I'll share, again, what we intend to do with the book. And it's actually a very interesting kind of project slash story. So hopefully you guys will tune in when we reveal that book. I'll go over, um, again. I'm trying not to reveal too much. I just want to be transparent without, uh, revealing what my intentions are. But it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool idea, and I got to give credit to, uh, Slim Slim Comics. I got to give, credit, to Sean for, uh, giving me the idea. So if he's watching, he'll probably know. Maybe he'll know what I'm referring to. But, yeah, Slim, you gave me some advice a while back, and am going to I put a spin on that advice, and I'll reveal what that is when we get the book. All right. Having said that, we are now going to do just kind of go through, the process again for, SummerCon. Okay, SummerCon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of, present again, share my screen. Here we go. All right, so let's see here. I think what we want to do is we want to open up a new tab here, and we're going to, oh, it's right there, SummerCon. And while we're at it, why don't we open up Rose City Comic Con? Okay, so we're going to start here at SummerCon. This is coming up in actually a couple weeks. This is for June 23rd. And as you can see, that this is a big entertainment guest list. I mean, I want to get, if I could get all the signatures here, I would be just going around having a blast. Like Vincent D'Onofrio. Who doesn't want to get Vincent D'Onofrio's autograph, right? Well, he's charging $70 for autographs. And I would imagine that's like $70 for maybe 3 autographs. I'm not sure. But again, um, as much as we want, like, you know, as much as we want, like, the LeVar Burton's or Jonathan Frakes or Marina Sirtis's autograph, um, or like, who doesn't want Wedge's autograph, right? Who doesn't want Wedge's autograph? It's weird to see Wedge as like a grandfather, like an elderly person. Um, Again, $50 for a standard autograph, like that's cool. Just it's not in my budget. So we're foregoing all these great celebrities, and just really focusing on the comic book creators. So that's where we're going to go now. The featured creators. And, you know, again, I'm going Friday and I haven't got my ticket yet. So I'm going to explain why I don't have my ticket yet. I am waiting till the absolute like last minute before I get my ticket because I don't want to buy my ticket now and then get a message like, a week or a couple days out saying, "Oh, by the way, Larry Hama's, can't make it for the yada 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 reason," and I don't want to, I just don't want to put myself through that turmoil. So I'm just gonna wait till the absolute like last minute, probably like maybe a couple days before the event. I'll go in and get tickets for Friday. I'll probably get them like the Sunday before, right? Just a couple, like 4 days before the event. And again, I'll just be continuously checking this site to make sure um, the people that I really want to focus on seeing are aren't backing out. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's my kind of reasoning and logic. So having said that, we're going to get this book signed by Marv Wolfman. Let's kind of go back to who's coming. Okay, so Marv Wolfman, we're going to get books signed by him. We're going to get books signed by Mike Grell. We are definitely getting books signed by Larry Hama. Larry Hama is the only reason I am even going to this SummerCon. Before he was announced just like maybe 2 weeks ago. Before he was announced, I wanted to go to SummerCon, but it wasn't compelling enough for me to, you know, uh, spend the money. And yeah, I just didn't feel like it offered enough to where I needed to be there. But I don't feel that way at all. And now that I'm going, I'm definitely going to enjoy meeting all these people like creators. I'm kind of bummed that Steranko's not going to be there on Friday. or Steve McNiven is not going to be there Friday, but pretty much everyone else is going to be there on Friday. Mark Wade's not going to be there as well. But everyone else is pretty much there. The people among the people that I want to meet. And to be honest, I'm going to try to meet all of these people, at least stop by and chat with everybody. Um, but of course, hit up the priority people first. So the first booth I'm going to go to when the doors open up, I'm going to go to Mr. Hama. Then I'm going to go to Mr. Wolfman. Then I'm going to go to Mr. Grell. Then I'm going to go to Bob Hall, John Beatty, Mr. Steve Englehart. And from there, if I have time, we'll hit up some of the other artists. But that's the plan. So, now I've kind of adjusted my target list of what I want to get signed. With this purchase, this is a big one. This is one of the books for the Wolfman signing. This could be another one. 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 And I think that's it. The other one. No, there's a couple more. This is definitely one. I will go into the reasons why. This could be one. The only thing holding this one back really is condition. And this is one. So, I already explained the reasoning behind this one. I want to have both Wolfman and Perez's signature on the same book. And this is really the only George Perez signed book I have. Now, have I been looking on eBay for George Perez signed books? You bet I have. And I actually bid on several books, and I'm still eyeing several books, George Perez signature books. I lost out on an auction for Wonder Woman. There's a signed book, George Perez Wonder Woman book. Not a key issue, but just a beautiful cover of Wonder Woman. I think it's Wonder Woman 20 something, where she's like flying through the blue sky with doves around her. It's a beautiful cover. I actually have the book, but I wanted the signed copy. That would have been a great book to get and add Wolfman's signature to, and have that book. So I was actually eyeing that, but this is, again, I got caught in this bidding war. I don't know if it was the actual seller, felt like the seller though. But yeah, every time I bid, he would bid higher. So, and he'd bid just a little, and he'd just go right above my bid. It got annoying. So, I just stopped bidding after a certain point, lost out. And it ended up selling at that price, which made it just a little suspect. And so don't go crazy on the bids. Definitely have a price in mind. Don't get carried away. If it escapes you, let it escape you, because oftentimes those things, um, don't let your ego get in the way. Um, I actually lost out on another Jim Lee book for the same reason. Like I started bidding on it, somebody kept bidding it higher. So, and really, that book, it's same issue there. Like it's just staying at that plateau. So there's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's just people who sell things in auctions that are, you know, they're doing something duplicitous. And so in those instances, if I feel like it warrants a report, I'll do it. But um, there are a couple more new Teen Titan books signed by George Perez, which aren't actually that bad in terms of price, around $20. Brandon's asking, are all the comic creator autographs free? Um, I think so. They're not charging, but that's not to say that they're so. There's no pricing on SummerCon for autographs from creators, which leads me to believe it they will be free up to a certain limit. Um, and I know Larry, he if he's signing and he knows you're gonna slab it, or basically he'll make it out to you. If you say your name, could you sign it with my name? It's free. But if you just want his signature, or you're getting it slabbed or something, then he will charge a fee. So yes and no. Um, I imagine some of these autographs are up to a limit. Like again, maybe the first 3 books you get signed are free, but if you're going to get additional books signed, they will charge. And so I'm anticipating that, and I'm definitely prioritizing a few books that we think will be free, and maybe reserving 1 or 2 that we could pay for. I would definitely pay a little extra for additional Wolfman books to be signed, and I'll definitely pay for additional books for Larry Hama to sign. Just up to how many is the question. And I think Larry's the kind of guy who, if he's making it out to me, you know what I mean? He's like, who should I make it out to? And I say my name, and he's like, how many I'm sure you'll kind of have a generous limit if he knows it's going to stay in my collection. It's really, uh, you know, a memento, a fan memento, as opposed to me trying to sell it. So I won't really know exactly the pricing on the autographs until I get there, but we're going to take a few extra bucks in the event that, people are charging. Again, I don't think if like Bob Hall is charging for his autographs, we can forego a Bob Hall signature. Um, Mike Grell, we'll see. Kind of have some book. I kind of have one book that I really want signed by Grell. Other than that, yeah, I just really hope they're going to be signing up to a limit for free, and then after they're going to charge. I really hope that's the case. Let's see here. Okay, that's good to know. Brandon, are you going to go to SummerCon this year? If so, when are you going? I keep asking everybody the same question. I'm going on Friday, which is, I think, the most unpopular day to go, because you don't have access to literally all the celebrities, right? Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm anticipating too. And actually, $60 for a Jim Lee signature, that's actually really good. If he's charging 60, I would pay that. I know he does 3 for 150, right? He did that for Emerald City, which is also really good. But yeah, okay. So again, I think this will be one of the books. I'm just going to say if there's 3 books I definitely want signed, this is one of them. This is the second. And of course, this will be the third. These are the 3 we are targeting as priority books to get signed by Wolfman. Okay, so it's changed up a little. Now, the ones I'm going to take in reserve, this will be the next one in terms of priority. Then this one. Then this one. Then this one. And this one. So that's an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. Okay, so 3 hopefully free, and then 5 depending on what he's charging per signature for additional. So again, assuming, let's say, reasonably, let's say he says 3 free and then like 5 to 10 per additional, I think I would allot around $10 as my target. So whatever $10 or around there gets me for an additional signature or signatures will pay. Thanks, man. Right? I mean, Marv Wolfman has nothing to do with this fanfare book. Absolutely nothing to do with this fanfare book. This is all George Perez. It's a George Perez cover, and it's a beautiful cover at that, with his signature there. So this is a treasured book for me. But having said that, for me, my connection with George Perez has always been associated with the New Teen Titans. That was just the book, right? That was just one of the books that got me hooked on comics. And so for me, that team of Wolfman Perez, that combo, for me, like it's like Wolfman without Perez or Perez without Wolfman, to me just seems, and I know they've done a lot of things independent of each other. I get it. But how awesome would it have been to have this book signed by Perez and Wolfman, right? Like, that would be like, I looked for this book signed for a George Perez signature, and it's bank. It is a bank for this book, for a signed copy of this book. So it's probably not going to happen. So I kind of gave up on that, like trying to force that. Like trying to force, now that I'm meeting Marv Wolfman, I gotta get like a new Teen Titans or something where they both worked on it and get that signed. Like I kind of given up on it because I just be spending too much on the book for the Perez signature. I got this book for $15. This Perez signature, $15. And in all honesty, I love this book. Um, but for me, it's really about this little piece of George. And so I think for me, having a book with both their signatures on it, regardless of the book, the fact that they're both on a book, um, and I'll let Mr. Wolfman know that when I have pass this book on to him, I'll be like, I'm gonna let him know, like, I know you didn't work on this book, but I have this book signed by Mr. Perez, and it mean a lot to me to have your signature there with his as a reminder of your great, creative collaborative relationship. And I imagine he would have no problem with that. It's probably, and he's signed enough books, uh, you know, with, or books where probably Perez has signed it as well. So I don't think he's gonna have an issue with that. Um, would it be great to have like a Perez and like this book? There's a Perez signature book of Batman Year Three, not in the best condition, selling for $99 right now on eBay. It's signed by John Beatty, signed by George Perez. If you got that for $100 and you added Wolfman signature, boom, mission accomplished. And that's a book. This is also a book both Wolfman and Perez. Uh, well, I mean, Wolfman didn't do the interiors, but he did the cover, right? Wolfman wrote, Perez cover. There's another example of the great work that they've done together. Um, this Batman, you want to give it to me? Amen, brother. What's up? All right. I'm glad you guys are hanging out, man. This is fun. That's right. Black Widow, four issues. Sounds like you're a Perez fan, four color. I would kill for the. I mean, again, it's on eBay for $99. John, two signatures, Beatty and John Beatty and Marv Wolfman. Sorry, George Perez. And John Beatty is going to be at SummerCon. So when I get this book signed by Wolfman, I'm going to get it also signed by John Beatty. The only signature missing would be Perez, right? Um, Same here, dude. Same here. Um, so again, the three books, I think Wolfman's signature on this book, it's going to mean a lot. Definitely want the signature on this book. Definitely want his signature on this book. I mean, these are like two big books from my childhood that just make sense. And then I have a sort of a substack of books we want in addition to. So depending on what he charges uh, per signature, let's say he's charging for signatures. He's charging $20 a signature. That puts a big crimp in the plans, but in that case, $20 a signature. I only think we'd have bandwidth to get one book signed, and in that instance, I think I'd get this one signed, assuming he's charging $20 a signature. Now, I think he'll actually won't be charging that much. He'll probably do some fan service, and then after a certain limit, again, I think he'll maybe charge. So that's what I'm hoping will happen, but it remains to be seen. And so, stay tuned. That's all I can say. Another real cool book that So, like I mentioned, for me, my first connection with Perez and Wolfman's work was through the New Teen Titans, and um, yeah, I mean, that just would be a real cool book to have. Um, Probably the ideal situation is to get a book where Perez and Wolfman have both signed, and that's something maybe we'll put some money down to get. There's a lot of books out there with both their signatures on the New Teen Titans. And that's something I think, in terms of just like maybe paying um, a little bit more for, uh, it's something we could do. But yeah, I mean, this would be a great cover to get signed by Wolfman, right? Or one we could target for like a big purchase at some point. Um, this is another one that would be really cool to have a book signed by both of them. Um, and this is just a cool book that's was in my collection. I think I got this for like $3 or so at Half Price Books, and I think it'd be cool to because this is a book Wolfman worked on. He wrote this issue, and I think it'd just be cool to have a book where it's just him. I think Aparo is the artist for this, but I mean, in terms of like the focus of this book, it's like it would just be kind of the focus would be on Wolfman, as opposed to where Wolfman, if it's a Wolfman signed book on something he's worked on with Perez, it would just feel kind of empty. Like it really would feel balanced with the Perez Wolfman presence there. But this is if this just had Wolfman's signature on it, it would feel kind of complete in that sense. So again, those are all kind of cool books that again, stay tuned, see how many books we actually get signed, which books we get signed, and I think in terms of pickups, I'm pretty content with not getting any additional books for this Wolfman signature. I have three great books right now that I'd be more than pleased to get signed. So I just don't need to be like, I don't need to be greedy. I don't need to be going out and getting like bigger books. Because these three, I think having signed would just, for me, really feel good. And that's part of the reason, I already have this in a slab, and what felt weird was like, but I want this book signed by Wolfman. Of all the books he's worked on, this is the book I'd want signed. This is just one of my favorite books. So even I wasn't going to crack and resubmit, because that's $75 right there to crack and resubmit just to get a yellow label, right? When I could just get this for $17, get it signed, and then I'll have a slab and I'll have a slab in a raw, or I'll sell the slab for $100. Again, the slab, gonna let you guys know, my personal 7.5 copy newsstand of Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7. No signatures whatsoever. Again, really nice looking copy. They're just probably 2 minor corner issues that led to this grade. Spine is really clean. Corners are sharp. White pages. Really, I think I got robbed on this grade, to be honest. But this is available for $100 or best offer. And that will be shipped. So no additional shipping, $100 shipped. So if you guys are interested in this book, it's for sale. Yeah, kind of getting caught up here. Cool. Yeah, Wolfman is an incredible writer. Absolutely. Probably one of the best. From my era, at least. My era of collecting. Yeah, again, if I don't sell the slab, it's not a big deal. Again, I got this for $17. So to me, like, it's a win. Because once I get Wolfman's signature on it, you know, it's going to be worth way more than that. And again, it's not like I'm going to sell it, right? Yeah, shipped in the U.S. $100 shipped in the U.S. Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Vic. All right, so we've kind of exhausted the Wolfman topic, and so hopefully that gives you an idea of what we'll come back signed with. Now, the Larry Hama signing. As I mentioned, I think if he's making the signature out to your name, he will be very generous with the signatures. He'll probably sign, as many as what's like reasonable, right? Like maybe a 5 to 6 books, right? If he's making it out to you, because it's easy, to, let's say, Bobby. Let's say he's making out to Bobby Larry Hama. Simple, right? So that is, and I don't mind that. I actually would prefer if he said that, I'd be like, yes, because these books, I am not going to sell these books. Once he signed them, they're all PC books for me. So, which books do we get signed? I mean, they're just, ooh. I've already gone over the priority books. I think those are going to stay priority books, to be honest. There's really only one other book that I may purchase. And we'll go over what that is. And we'll go over, at the end, we're going to go over the Jim Lee books for the next Jim Lee signing. Okay, the books I have in reserve for the next Jim Lee. And I know I mentioned the books in my last video, the Jim Lee books I'd want to get signed, but that list has changed. So I'm going to update you on what that list is. Oh, you know me so well, For Color. You know me so well. Thanks, man. You make a good point. Handful of Wolvie books. But, to me, my introduction to Hama was through that book. And that is still a book we could get signed. And what I mean by that is I do plan on taking that slab with me to SummerCon. In fact, let's get it down right now. All right, so The Silent Issue, the best comic book, my favorite comic book of all time. I think it is the best written comic book, or the best comic book story of all time, because there is no story. There's no written story. It's a visual story. And that's all you need. All you need is the visual story. So for of course, yeah, right. So I mean, this is the big book, but you know, it's slabbed. How do I get this book signed if it's slabbed? And so, like I said, the option is to crack and resubmit, and it's going to be $75 to do that. Um, but on a big book like this, again, this is like I was in, I think, fifth or sixth grade when I read this book, and I must have read it a gajillion times. Um, and it again, I was just like knee deep into GI Joe and Transformers at the time, right? Like all of us were, who grew up in that era. So it's a no brainer. Like you said, for Claire, it's a no brainer. It's just $75 to get it reslabbed with the yellow label. Um, I mean, that's a lot of money right there, right? But a chance to meet you. I mean, this is the only chance to meet my childhood idol, which means I think we have to do it. I think we have to crack, get the book out. I mean, it's literally a waste of, what did I pay to get this slabbed? I think I paid like $25, right, to get slabbed and like pressed and slabbed. The pressing hopefully will. I think the pressing was good because now when I resubmit, I don't have to press it. It just needs to get the yellow label, right? So in terms of the pressing, that's fine. So I think the pressing was 15, right? Plus 25 to get it slabbed. So I spent 25, which is now down the drain. But we'll have this book in a CGC signature slab with Hama's signature on it. Now, the other option, which I discussed in my last video, see a man, see a four color. For 15, I get pressed again. I got this press though. I don't think it. I mean, unless like Hama does something in the interim between cracking and getting it resubmitted. I think it's good. But my point with this is the other option we could do is just have Hama, and I want your thoughts on this because this is what I mentioned in my last video. Not a lot of people were in the chat at the time, but what do you think about getting signatures on the slabs themselves, like signing right on the slab? I've seen it. I've seen it done. I know a lot of collectors that have done it, and obviously, ideally, you want it on the book and get it slabbed. But again, if I don't want to pay $75 and I don't want to waste this nice interaction that I'm going to have with Mr. Hama, I don't want to come back from that if this book isn't signed or there isn't some kind of. The other option is just to take a photo with Larry Hama and this book, like me, Larry Hama, and this book, and get a photo if he's cool with that. Just so that photo will have a record of like, hey man, we met Larry Hama in the presence of this book. So I think that the other logical thing to do with this book is if you don't crack it and slab it for 75 bucks, is just to have Larry sign the slab, which is different. I could have had Wolfman sign my slab as well. We were considering that, but it's different because this is a $17 book, whereas this is a $200 book for high grade. And I'm not going to spend an additional $200 just so I can get Larry's signature on it. Um, I'd rather just crack this one and resubmit for 75. Or again, the other option is to just have him directly sign the slab just right there across the GI Joe on the slab. This isn't going to go anywhere. I'm going to like maybe spray enamel coat it so the signature just is preserved. Um, you know, yeah, Brandon, I just kind of went over my reasons why I would crack it, or I'm not going to get another copy of the GI Joe. It's $200, dude, right? Um, and if I were to, let's say I had $200 to just throw around, I'd want it in a higher grade than this, and I'm pretty sure I could get it in a higher than a NATO. It's hard to manage that, especially online. And my other option would be just to go around locally and try to find a high grade raw copy. And that's challenging. I only have like 3 weeks, so I don't think that's going to happen. I wouldn't necessarily like having two newsstand copies just wouldn't kind of make any sense. So I think my only really two options are I'm definitely going to get a photo with him in this book. Okay. I think the other option is, oh yeah, getting a reprint. That is a great point. That's something I haven't. Hey, what's up, fanboy? That's a great point. I didn't, and that would feel as nice, I think, having it raw, right? A reprint with a signature on it. That's something to consider. Thanks for that is a good option. So okay, yeah. I did a little bit of research into signatures on slabs, and you're right. Um, Basically, moisture or alcohol. Once the ink, assuming the ink, you get a signature, you let it dry completely. Because if you sign it and then you touch it, it's going to smudge while it's still wet, right? So assuming you get the signature in a Sharpie, right? You get a Sharpie signature, you let it dry. It's actually going to be pretty resilient, just the signature. But without any kind of coating or protection, if you touch it or over time, it's going to like whenever something rubs against it or touches it or it's you know physical contact is made with that ink is going to degrade over time. Okay, so you're absolutely right. Um, a lot of things can happen between getting it signed. Again, once it's dry, it's pretty resilient, but a lot of things can happen between getting it signed and just preserving it. But to really get that signature um, to stick, you want to get um, an enamel coating, a clear enamel coating, not matte, not anything, just absolutely transparent coating. and you can spray it on there, just a light spray, let that dry, and it's just going to pretty much be like like fingernail polish over like a top coat of coating on that signature. So it's not going to rub off. It's going to last a long. And now that coating will degrade over time as well, but assuming you like keep it wrapped, you got it on a shelf somewhere, it's really not going to degrade within your lifetime. So I think that is another option. And for me, it really comes down to, do I spend $75 to crack, resubmit, or do I have him sign on the slab, take a picture with him, again, preserve it with the coating, and just have this slab. I don't need a yellow label to tell me it was Larry Hama's, because it's not ever going to go anywhere, but have that as the memory. And it's not like a 9.8 or anything, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like something where if I were to pay $75 to have it on the book and in a yellow label, it wouldn't necessarily be any more significant than having his signature on a book, whether it's on the book or whether it's on a slab, like collectible of the book. So let me know what you think. I know obviously having it on the book in a yellow CDC signature would be ideal across the board, right? But I think the next best thing would be to have it on the slab. And that's, I think, where I'm leaning right now for the Honda signature, to be honest. I think that's what we're going to get done. Whoops. Just need to put this back in the bag. So, yes, I've kind of convinced myself of that decision as we discussed it. Well, I think this is where the picture comes into play. So for me, I'd get it signed by Larry, and then I'd ask him if I could get a picture with the book, right? So it'd be me, Larry, and it'd be that exchange where he signed the book. So in that sense, like, my heirs, in terms of my direct heir, he will know all about the book. I will show him photos and educate him on the greatness of this man. Hopefully hopefully Larry Stick is around to where my son can meet him and really appreciate what his work means. That would be amazing. I just know right now he's too young, and it's not, I mean, as much as you could explain it to him, he's not going to get it right. So, yeah, I think, a signature is a signature, right? It's just how they interpret, or how you educate them about who this person is. And so I think that is just an interaction you have with your child or your grandchild, and whether they decide to pass that connection and knowledge onto the next generation. At some point it's going to get lost. That connection is going to get severed, right? And this is going to end up maybe for sale at a garage sale. My grandchildren might or my great grandchildren might end up selling at a garage sale or something. Um, at which point you're absolutely right. Like at that point, like yellow labels will probably be um, more valued than something without a CO or anything like that. Like especially on directly on the slab, right? People are gonna be like, "What was this guy thinking?" But again, it's a PC book. For me, looking at that slab and seeing Larry's signature and remembering when he signed that book is just better than is as good as doing the whole cracking and submitting thing. Now, I do see the value in the yellow label, and I do see the value in having the book signed and slabbed and preserved. So I think $75 is like just right on the edge of what like I'd be willing to pay. Because I know I skipped the Larry Hama signing. He did a signing, I think, last year with CGC. And he was signing, again, that was also, I think, $75 per book for the signing event. And we were this close to submitting stuff for it. I was like, oh. But I didn't have any money at the time. Yeah, I didn't have any money at the time. And I did have that book, though. I did have that book, and I was just like, oh. And I'm kind of regretting now that I didn't submit that at that time for $75. Again, I didn't have the money. I just thought, I was really hoping an opportunity like this would come, and it has. But now the timing is off again because I already have it slapped. So, $75 is a big book you can get. And just to, again, if he's doing signatures for free again, it it just feels like I'm pouring into something that doesn't need to be, like $75 just to get the book signed and slabbed, as opposed to just getting the signature somewhere on that slab. It's already slabbed, right? Just somewhere on the book slash slab. I guess the real argument you could make was that slab someday may get cracked or may need to be replaced, right? And in that instance, we would, in that instance, the slab itself is just this empty shell of a signature, right? The book would come out of that, and it'd lose all its sort of importance. And in that scenario, yeah, that would not be. So I'm still grappling with it. We're taking that book no matter what, because I think this will be a decision I make right there in front of Larry. I'll make it, and in that moment, I'll realize, okay, $75 it is. So I think ultimately I'm going to come back with something, and we'll just have to see what that moment, when it's presented to me, what my gut tells me. And we'll leave it at that for now. Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. I think in terms of the maximum ideal, to get in terms of the uh, ideal situation for that book would be to have it again signed in the yellow label, right? I absolutely agree with you. It's just it is a financial like investment. and I see your point. It's just with where that book is now, cracking and reslabbing, on top of the 75, you're adding another additional 25 that I paid for that. So it's actually $100 is kind of going down the drain. Well, I shouldn't say down the drain, but it'd be an additional 25 on top of the 75 we spend. So ultimately, it'd be like $75 to get, we'd have spent to get that in a yellow label. And again, I just gotta, I have to get to that moment to see where I am. Because I'll have about, now, let's just kind of revisit where my finances are right now. I told you I just spent $27 on 2 books. So 27 minus 400, right? I just sold some books. So I have about $15 from that sale. Which again, 15 plus whatever, like 72, what is that? 85. It's like, so we have about $187, give or take. Or sorry, $387, give or take, in the current budget. Now, I also have books on hold at Destiny City Comics. Shout out to you, Ethan. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing your point now. Yeah, I see your point. I think, I think you make a very valid point, and I also think, back to my point. Let's say I got that signed, right, and 20 years later, the plastic is degrading, you know, or the plastic is like getting discolored, or just, it's like, um, or it cracks, or something happens to the slab, um, and then at that point, you know, as much as you took care of it and preserved it, it's like it's plastic, right? It's just this covering. So at some point, it's the slab potentially needs to be replaced. So in that instance, you know, that's a situation where, in hindsight, you would really regret not having made that investment. So, and that's a definite. I mean, that's a future that will arrive. Whether it's something in my lifetime, or it'll probably be in the next generation's lifetime with that book. But you know, I get it. I get it. So I think in terms of spending 70, I mean, you know, I think spending $75 does ultimately make sense. All right, thanks, Comic Mag. Thanks for being the voice of reason. Yeah, there's something to not, I think, on a signed book, that, I could just crack it and have him sign it and keep it raw. That's the other option. Um, and I'd only lose $25 at that point. Um, I mean, really, sometimes when I look at that 8.0 grade in the slab, I'm really disappointed because bought that book. I bought that book for like 200, maybe $185. I paid $220 for my Secret Wars 8. I paid, I think, $185, but they ended up both being $200 after taxes and shipping. This one, so overpaid for both books. Okay, to be honest, I got raw. I overpaid. This one is probably close to what I paid in terms of the value that I know with the Spider-Man custom label. The GI Joe, I think, if anything, it's right there in terms of the value, right around 200 for an 8.0 copy. So really, if I were to crack that, get the book signed, and just keep it, I don't need to spend $75. Keep it raw, and just throw away the $25 I spent on the slabbing fees. That's an option too. In fact, I think that'd be a better option than just having the slab signed, to be honest. So we'll see. I think it's still like, you can see I'm like racking my brain over $75. I'm just because I mentioned that I have the potential to have at the end of this whole part-time work summer project. By the time I go to Rose City Comic Con, if I don't spend a dime, which is already too late, I've spent dimes already. But assuming I don't spend a dime from here on out, okay, I will potentially have $2,300 going into Rose City Comic Con. Now, do I need $2,300 going into Rose City Comic Con? Probably not. But the hope is, with that $2,300, we're going to pick up the big books that we're targeting this summer. And go back and watch my videos about what books those are, but I'm targeting some big books. So $2,300 in light of those targeted books is not a lot of money, trust me. I mean, I have the potential to pick them all up, but there are some books there where there's one book that I haven't really spoke about, but picking up like a low grade, giant sized X-Men would be, I mean, that's like a grail book to me, right? And I know we could find it. I won't have enough money to pull the trigger at SummerCon, but hopefully by Rose City Comic Con, when that comes around, if we have close to a $2,000 budget, that's something we could do. The other part of that equation is the reason we're going to Rose City Comic Con is to hopefully pick up our commission work from Impeachment Local. That's our goal. That's our target. So those are both like big lifts, big financial lifts that I need to kind of have money for. Now, will $75 really affect? Yeah, definitely. Will $75 eat into that overall big picture thing? No, I don't think it will. And so, if we're going to crack it, pay the extra 75 and really just have peace of mind, right? That we've made it was an investment for the best situation. I think we're kind of leaning toward that. That's a great point. Although I don't think Kama's one of those guys, but that's a great point. So I think I'm glad you guys are here, kind of being the voice of reason. I think I am leaning toward. I think I've already made the decision. I'm going to crack it and sign it. And the final commitment is that $75 to resubmit. So I'm kind of on the fence about that one. All right. let's go over my other Larry Hama books that I want to get signed. And again, the same premise here. Assuming he decides to sign only a limited amount of books for free, and then he's charging for additional signatures. Break it live? You bet it. You betcha. I think that'll be fun, and we'll break it live. And we'll break it right in front of Mr. Hama, because I think he'd get a kick out of it to see, like this book that's treasured in my collection, but we're cracking it open just so he can sign it and add that value to it. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that independent of the free signatures, because that one, I think, if he's going to charge any additional signatures, if I'm paying $75 anyway, I might as well have that as part of this charged signatures. That way he'll just write Larry Hama on that, and he'll get slabbed, right? And I'm hoping he can write Yo Joe Larry Hama, right? Oh, even better, have him draw the tattoo, which, if you don't know what the G.I. Joe tattoo is, it's a straight line, 2 lines, straight line, 2 lines, straight line, 2 lines. Wait, straight line, 2 lines, straight line, 2 lines. It's 2 straight lines and 2 dashes. And I don't know if that's Morse code, or I don't know what the symbolism of that is, but it's the Arashiagi clan's like symbol. So have him dude, that's a sketch. And if he does that, that's a sketched book. That becomes a sketched book at that point. So crack it, have him sign it, and then request that. Could you draw the snake eye or the storm shadow tattoo and do it in red? I do have a red Sharpie here somewhere, don't I? I know I have a red Sharpie somewhere. It's not here, but I have it. Oh, right across that G.I. Joe. Well, we are gonna crack it now. I've made the decision. All right, we're gonna crack it, and we're gonna have him sign the book, and we're gonna have him sketch the tattoo as well. Because at that point, I'm paying for the signature. Okay, this is the signature I'm paying for, and I'll just say, Mr. Hama, could you sketch the Storm Shadow tattoo, and maybe talk to him about how he came up with the design of that tattoo. But and again, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's a straight line, 2 lines, straight line, 2 lines, because I think it ends with 2 lines. It starts with a straight line and ends with 2 lines, or it might end with a straight line. But anyway, let me know. I think it does end with 2 lines, but that tattoo is bad, and it's an easy request. Sure, he's drawn that tattoo a good jillion times, so he knows. Like if I say, could you draw the tattoo, I don't have to like spell it out for him. He'd just be like dash 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 dash. I think so. It is two straight dashes, and yeah, it ends with 2 lines, right? Really? It ends with 2 lines and starts with 2 lines? I'm curious now. But we're getting that on the book for sure. Because once he does that, he draws literally like 5-6 lines along with his signature. That becomes a sketched book. And this is something you guys have to when you're getting books signed, you can request little things like, could you, um, like if it's a Batman book, could you draw the bat's symbol? If it's a Superman book, could you draw? And I did that with my other books, and they all came back signed and sketched by the artist. So it no longer is just a signed book at that point; it's a sketched book. So I am going to ask for Storm Shadow's tattoo along with his signature when I get crack that and get it signed. So I was right. Um, it starts with a line and it ends with two lines. It's just longer than I. So it's line, 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 line. That's what the tattoo looks like, and we're gonna get that along with the signature on the book. I want to get it like that, like in a landscape across the GI Joe in red, as it's intended to be. So we'll need to take our red Sharpie with us, along with the blue Sharpie for a signature. Asians don't like to sign books in red ink, meaning we don't like to sign our names in red ink because that signifies we'll die. It's signing your name in red ink is a bad omen. So I would never request him to sign his. I would have two separate pens, ask him to draw the dashes in red, and then sign the book in blue. Trev, I knew you'd like that, buddy. Cool. Cool. Yeah, again, if I get that, it'll come back and slab it. At that point, we want to get slabbed because it just won't come back with a yellow label. It'll come back with a yellow label with this. That's it's a sketched book, signed and sketched book. So that I mean, even if you were to have it raw with that sketch and the signature, that'd be cool. But I think, again, for the $75 investment to get a sketched book back, that's more than worth it. So there's our first book right there. Okay. That'll be big. That'll be big. In fact, this is gonna garner some attention on Friday on Friday night or Friday afternoon as I'm sitting there with Mr. Hama and the CGC witness. Like, oh man, they're gonna crack a slab and he's gonna draw the tattoo, and it's gonna be a spectacle. So I'll try to film it and share it with you guys. But you guys heard it here first. For those of you in the chat, you guys heard it here first. Yeah, again, McFarlane's not Asian, so it's not gonna matter to him. But for Asian people don't sign their name in red ink. It's a bad omen. It's bad luck. It's like a precursor to your death. So I mean, we all die eventually, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we know this, so we avoid it, and I'm not going to ask Larry Hama to sign his name in red ink for sure, because I know how he's gonna respond to that. All right, so the other books we want signed. So this is we're gonna pay for that signature. That's independent of the free books. So assuming he has a free book signing limit, that's going to be outside of that limit. I will ask him what the lines mean. I'm very curious. I'm doing it on the silent issue. Getting the tattoo on the silent issue in red ink with his name in blue ink. And we're going to crack that and we're going to resubmit it, and I'll unbox it's going to come back the same grade, right? But I'll unbox the yellow label with the signature when it arrives. That's gonna look so, oh man, that is gonna be fun. That'd be fun. All right, so the other book we're getting signed is this. And for those of you who watched my last video, you will know the significance of this book. Um, I I share my top 10 artists of all time list, my top 10 favorite artists. And, um, that list hasn't really shifted or changed all that much. The same 10 artists kind of have remained my same 10 favorite artists. Now, that may change over time, but it's not likely to. And three of the artists, my top 10 favorite artists, have contributed to this book. And those three artists are Larry Hama, who wrote this book, Mark Silvestri, who illustrated this book, and Jim Lee, who has Wolverine. Just there's the back page, the last page has Jim Lee's kind of sketch, or I should say, yeah, it's like a cover sketch of Wolverine on the back. It's like a pinup, right? And I think they reused that for like a variant cover for Wolverine. The Wolverine in the yellow suit, him going like this, the Jim Lee. It's pretty. It's a pretty iconic image. But that image is on the back, very last page, inside of the back cover. So this is a very significant book in that we'd want all three of those people to sign. Now, once we get Larry's, and where we're going to get Larry's signature on this book is not on this part here, on the yellow part. We're going to open up the die cut cover here and get it right here across the die cut. So you'll be able to see like Larry's signature through this die cut cover. It'll be on the interior, the first page of the interior, rather than on the cover. So we're going to get Larry's signature right here, right across, this area here. I think he's fighting Silver Samurai here, if I'm not mistaken. And then we're going to get Mark's Silvestri signature right below that. Again, visible in this die cut claw strike here. We'll have the two creator signatures there. And we're going to get Jim Lee's signature when he comes around on the back on that Wolverine pinup. Again, not planning to submit this book or get it slabbed. It's going to be a book where we can open it up, look at the signatures, look at the back, see Jim Lee's signature, and just know, hey, I went around and got those three creators. Now, Larry Hama, once we have the signature, this book will be in reserve for the other two artists. Now, I have two copies, and I don't mind doing that twice, having each creator sign it twice. Now, with Jim Lee, it might be harder because, he's generally it's $150 for three signatures. So to waste two signatures on the same book, we might not want to do that. But I know for like for the Larry Hama and the Silvestri, if we have the bandwidth to get Larry to sign both these books, we will. If we don't, again, assuming he does like three free signatures, we're only going to get this one sign. But assuming like he's like, hey, as long as you don't mind me, if I can make it out to you, however many books you want to get signed, I'll make it. Like if it's like, hey, otaku, to otaku Larry Hama, and I know when he makes it out, he doesn't charge. He'll just, because he knows it's for you, right? So in those instances, he often signs more books. So if there's a larger bandwidth for him to do that, I'll get both books signed, Otaku Larihama, in that way. So no bandwidth, just this book. Bandwidth, we'll get both books signed. And that's going to be a cool, when this project, whenever we meet Sylvester, whenever we next meet Jim Lee, and I'm thinking I can get that done by next year because, to be honest, I think Mark Silvestri is coming for Emerald City Comic Con next year. I honestly feel he's going to be at Emerald City next year. And the reason being, Emerald City was a huge event this year. Huge, because they moved it into a new venue. And it drew in a lot of revenue. I think it's like, compared to past cons, it brought in a whole lot more money because of the new venue. So, and people were just spending more, I think. I don't know what it is about the post-pandemic return to con kind of atmosphere, but people came, people were enjoying themselves, and they were spending money. So I know, I heard some reports, that said that this con was one of the most successful in the history of Emerald City Comic Con. So that tells me next year's event, people are going to be clamoring to attend the event. They're going to probably do early registration, get all that. And Emerald City Comic Con, they're selective. So when a Mark Silvestri comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to be there next year," he's like first on. He's like headlining the event, right? And I think we'll see that next year. I think Mark will make time to, because he's been up here many, many times for the event. He's sort of like a favorite, a local favorite among the organizers and fans here. So I think we will have, come next year, we'll at least have Larry and Mark's signature on this book. So hopefully that's something to look forward to. All right. So we have one, again, this is outside the free books. We're paying for that. This is one. And to be honest, this is going to be our next book. And it's just a great cover. So there's a Zek, Mike Zek cover, Larry Hama book, Larry Hama story. This is another book. So we've already reached our, again, low bandwidth limit in terms of the free signatures. These are the 3 books I think we'd want to get signed. We'd pay for that one again. Now, again, if I write your name, I'll sign as many as you want kind of policy. We have books in the wings for that scenario as well. So these are the 3 books for the low bandwidth. If it's an expanded bandwidth, we're getting this one signed. We're getting this one signed, my newsstand copy. We're getting this one signed. We're getting this one signed. And we are targeting a book. So I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I plan on going to Ancient Comics before SummerCon. I'm also planning on going to Destiny City Comics before SummerCon. And we're really looking for a specific book, and that is G.I. Joe 26. Okay. Which is the origin of Snake Eyes. It's actually the origin of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, for those of you who read that book. And so let's go back to my fifth grade, back to my childhood when I was in fifth grade, and I read that book, right? And my mind was blown. Along comes issue 26, and I'm reading that, and it's the origin story, told through, I think it was told through, the Ranger. It was, anyways, told through the Ranger's story, and he's basically, because Snake Eyes can't talk, right? So they're looking at like top classified material. And he's retelling the story. They're all war buddies. Snake Eyes, Ranger, and Storm Shadow. They're all buddies in Vietnam, and Storm Shadow saves, or sorry, Storm Shadow saves. Sorry, Snake Eyes saves Tommy. Sorry, Tommy saves Snake Eyes' life in Vietnam, and then Snake Eyes returns the favor in an accident where he prevents Tommy from getting hurt and gets his face blown to smithereens. And then they sort of form this bond as like blood brothers. And Snake Eyes goes to Japan and trains in Storm Shadow's like ninja clan, and studies under his teacher. Now his teacher gets murdered, and starts all this sort of drama, which concludes in issue 27. So it's a two-part origin story. This one kind of melds into the present. And again, these like three books for me growing up, especially as a huge fan of G.I. Joe, and these two characters specifically, just was like, that was it. That was like the story in the book. Now, the reason I'm going to look for issue 26 and pick up that book is because that's really the book of significance, because Larry Hama is the cover artist, he's the interior artist, and he writes the story of 26 for the origin story. And Larry Hama served in Vietnam. I think for him, it might have been somewhat of a personal story as well, mixed into that origin story. I can't confirm that, but I would imagine a lot of what he experienced during war and the camaraderie he felt with his platoon is probably etched into that story. Hey, Damien, what's up? Going over SummerCon plans. Are you going to be there on Friday? Got some big plans. Hopefully we're there together on Friday. So yeah, that's the book I'm targeting. Now I can go on right now. I can go on eBay and get the book for $10, and have it here shipped, and have G.I. Joe 26. We can do that, and that's something we may do. But I really want to find it for like $2, because I know if Jeff has it, which I know he may, if Jeff has it, he's going to have it under $5. Okay. And you'll probably have it, to be honest, closer to $2 or $3. So if I can pick it up for $3, and it's going to be a high grade copy, a nice minty minty copy, or not minty, but a VF copy, um, that book will instantly shoot up the ranks and probably push. Well, we'll probably pay for that one to get signed, um, but it'll come back with me signed, whether we pay for it or whether it's in the higher bandwidth. It's going to be prioritized right behind these three books and that book. So in terms of the priority books, it's these three: the Silent Issue and the Origin Story, because that issue 26 is all done by Larry, much like that book, except this book here, it's a Klaus Janson cover. Um, I mean, it's a Larry Hama cover, but it's a Klaus Janson. It's kind of a collaboration in terms of the inking and all that. Whereas Larry did all the interiors in that book. He does all the interiors in the 26 as well. And then obviously, if you get 26 signed, we'd like to have it as a set. Get the 27 signed as well. And again, all these other books here that I have are, if he has the bandwidth to sign them, we'd want them signed as well. Um, uh, these these two books are from my original collection from when I was in high school. Everything else we picked, I mean, I do like the direct. This is also from my college days, the direct edition, but I picked up the newsstand copy. So I think in terms of getting the signature, we'd want it on the newsstand copy. But these are all pretty cool books to have. Would be cool books to have signed by Larry. And again, if he's going to charge, let's say he charges something around $5 to $10 a signature, that by me is well worth the money. I'll get all of these books signed if it's in that range. If he's charging more, we'll have to really see. It would probably come down to maybe getting at one or two additional books signed at that point, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think he won't look to overcharge fans. I think it'll be rather reasonable. If we do pay for signatures, he's probably going to sign several books, right? So that's what we're hoping. All right, so awesome, Damien. We gotta hang out on Friday then. Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be fun for you and I to meet Larry Hama and Marv Wolfman together. That's going to be fun. All right, looking forward to that, sir. I'll see you there. That's good news. I kind of had an inkling that you might be there on Friday, but I know that you also are you guys are renting a house and you're staying there for the weekend. So I wasn't positive. I thought for sure you're going to probably be there on Saturday and Sunday, but glad to know that you're going to be there Friday and Saturday. Looking forward to hanging out with you on Friday. And let's see. Who are you bringing with you? Bob's doppelganger will be there. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Bob, Travis, and John. That's gonna be a fun group. You guys are gonna have so much fun. Get to hang out. Be fun hanging out with all of you guys. All right. Well, that's an added bonus to all this preparation to know you guys are going to be there. So Bob Hall is another artist that is going to be there. So we just plan to get these two books signed by Mr. Hall. They're in my collection. to be honest, like I was trying to sell both of these. Well, I was kind of waiting to sell. I mean, this one's not really does not carry a lot of demand right now. I think, and it's not the best condition book. So I was kind of, I mean, and I kind of missed the timing on this one, right? The show kind of came and went and didn't stick. So, um, this book will always remain, I think, a favorite to my generation, but I think it's lost on the current generation. So, um, again, if we get Mr. Hall's signatures on these books, these will become PC books, and we'll want to keep them. So that is that there. Mike Grell is the other artist. I think we have a book in terms we want to get signed. And I mentioned I had this really high grade copy of Green Arrow #1. Um, this for me, I got this covered because of the Seattle backdrop, the Emerald City there, which is where this run is set in. And I thought that'd just be a cool book to have Grell's signature on, because Grell, I mean, for me, was always associated with um, uh, Green Arrow. And there was the Green Arrow. What was it called? The series of like graphic novels, the Longbow Hunters. Uh, that was a pretty like adult oriented book at that time, and I remember reading a couple issues of that and being like, whoa, like, yeah. But yeah, I think having that a girl signature on that book would be pretty cool. All right, well, it's getting kind of late, so we're gonna end. Sub K-pop. What's up, guys? All right, glad you guys are chatting. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna end now. As you know, we're kind of just waiting for the next Jim Lee uh, either signing event, CGC signing event, or we're waiting for the next Comic Con event. Now, I'm hopeful because Jim attended Rose City Comic Con last year, and that announcement was made rather late. Like, Jim Lee's one of those artists, like, if he makes a decision to go to your con, it doesn't matter if the registration period is over. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna create space for you, right? And that's what happened a few years back with Emerald City Comic Con. It was announced, I think, like a month before the con that he'd be coming, and that prompted me to get tickets and books signed. And I know he was at Rose City Comic Con last year in September, and that also announcement was also made right before the event. So I'm still kind of holding out because we are planning to go to Rose City. I'm still kind of holding out for Jim Lee to be a late announcement. And in fact, I'm just gonna. I know I we're gonna go to Rose City right here. We're gonna go to the artists here. Where is it? Apply for artists. Here we go. Oh, I guess it's just where are the artists? Info, application, about us, features, guests. Here we go. So, why are guests popping up here? Oh, okay, here we go. There are quite a lot of guests coming, but what we're going to do is we're going to focus on comic guests. And There's a lot of great names here. Wow, Adam Hughes just got no effing way. Adam Hughes is coming to Rose City Comic Con. How cool is that? We got a lot of Adam Hughes books, so that's good news. Dustin Wen's going to be there. We got to pick up a couple more Dustin Wen books. Uh, Jeff Loeb is going to be there. We have a bunch of Batman Hush uh, Long Halloween books we could get signed there. Um, just so many. Man, this list has just really grown from the last time I checked it. Obviously, Peach Momoko is the reason we're going. And um, we are hoping to get a commission done by her. Cross my fingers. Um, and Stan Sakai, right? We definitely want to meet Stan Sakai, Simon Bisley. Uh, you know, all of these artists look incredible. So we want to probably engage with as many of them as possible when we attend this event. So I'm just glad, wow, Adam Hughes is going to be there. That's pretty freaking cool. And I didn't realize he looked like that. This is my first time actually seeing Adam Hughes. Um, yeah. And we'll get into, as we get closer to this, we'll kind of, I already have some books on my radar in terms of what we're going to try to pick up for this event. And we'll get more into that as we get closer. I'm not going to share what those are, but it's looking good. I think, given all the attention Peach Momoko and Stan and some of these big names now that have joined, this event is definitely going to, I think, continue to build some momentum. I mean, Adam Hughes, Peach Momoko, Stan Sakai, um, Jeff Loeb. I mean, these are like some of the biggest names in the industry. Simon Bisley, right? So I think we could very well see Jim Lee pop up and become like emerge as a late announcement. So I always try to like keep a set of books in mind for whenever that announcement or that engagement happens, what to have prepared for the signature event. And luckily, we have over 200 books in the wing, waiting in the wing for that. But I think I mentioned, one of the books we want to get signed is this book here. There's the Wolverine pinup on the very back of this cover. And again, this is part of a larger project to get Jim, Larry, and Mark, three of my all-time favorite creators of all time, all their signatures on one book, shared book. And especially a book, this book here with the spine ticks. This book here with the spine ticks is the one from my childhood. The one I got off at the comic book shop and read and then kept. So getting this book signed by those three guys will mean a lot. But the other two Jim Lee books that we want to get signed is this one. This is a really nice graded copy too. So if it's a CGC signature event or if it's just a Comic-Con event, I think some of these will want to submit for slabs. This one for sure, because I think this has the 9.8 potential. I think more like a 9.6 though. Yeah, this will probably be like a 9.6. But either way, having that in hybrid slab would look really cool. And the third book, so again, generally these things come in threes because the Comic Con event ones, he does this like mid tier package where you can get three signatures on like a print. That's generally $150. With inflation, who knows? It could go up, but I think Jim likes to keep it in that 50 per signature range. So with the two Wolverine books, the other book I'd want to get signed is Jim Lee's first cover appearance. Jim Lee's first cover appearance on a comic, um, along with the love of my life, Psylocke. Um, this is just a cool book, and this is in high grade. Um, so just getting Jim Lee's signature, like right here somewhere, would be really cool. And those are the three books, the updated three books we are targeting for signature. And this feels very palpable in terms of the Jim Lee. I feel like, he just announced he's going to Tucson. He's going to be at San Diego. It looks like, like in terms of um, West Coast travel. And, I think part of his PR tour as the new president of DC Comics is not to shy away from these kinds of events. It's to do more of them, be more actively engaged with fans and promoting the DC, brand and promoting things in these like discussions, that the panels that he participates in at these cons. So it's an opportunity to really kind of engage with fans, um, do the whole PR kind of circuit in terms of, hey, DC's coming out with this and promoting movies, books, different projects. So it would make sense if it's going to be like a Rose City with where a lot of fans, it's big in the market. Yeah, I think it's well within the bandwidth of, you know, it's not like he's the president as opposed to uh like involved with the finance, involved with maybe some of the larger investment portfolios that, as president, I feel like, yeah, you're steering the company in a certain direction, but um, your other another big part of your role is just being the face of the company, right? And that completely makes sense for Jim and, to be in that role because he's been the face of like comic books since early on in his career, right? He was one of the faces of Marvel. I mean, Marvel still capitalizes on stuff, his creations to this day. All those guys who left. But I think Jim is definitely one where you can constantly see his artwork popping up on like covers, cards, and different T-shirts and things that Marvel licenses out, images and things that they license out and make money off of, right? So um, it completely makes sense that they promote him to this leadership position, and in that position, again, he's always been busy. He's drawing, he's doing cover things and all that. But in this particular position, I think it's like just an opportunity to do more of the public relations side of um, yeah, just do more of that investor relation type, creating value for the company, right? Just meeting with a lot of people, different people, selling people on what the company has, right? And just getting more interest in those kinds of things. And um, we'll have to see because, this decision was made quite, it's been about a month, not even quite a month. I think maybe it's been about a month since the announcement. So um, I'm sure there's a lot of thought and planning going into like his scheduling, like where and what he's going to do. But I mean, I would imagine New York, San Diego, those are definitely, like locked in for him to go and do. Um, the question remains, like, given his remaining schedule, which markets or which events are going to be are going to be the largest or highest priorities. And I think Rose City right now, the way it's sort of panning out right here, because he did it last year. Again, he did it last year, so it's on his road. And I think honestly, he'll be back. He'll be here for Emerald City, because I mentioned Emerald City just knocked it out of the park this year, in terms of the revenues that event brought in, right? For the people both who attended and for the sort of the uh, larger community here, local economy here. So I know that event will be on a lot of people's radars come next year. So you can probably see it. You can anticipate on it being a more competitive thing to take part on the creator side, but definitely will showcase, I think, bigger names next year. And again, been put on the radar. I'm sure Jim will look at. Jim's definitely going to do something in the Northwest, right? And the question is, since he did Rose City last year, does he sit out Rose City this year? If so, he's definitely not going to sit out Emerald City Comic Con next year. I wouldn't imagine, right? So he's going to be back up here at some point, either this year or next year, early next year. And I'm thinking one of those two events, he'll probably make an appearance. That's my wishful thinking, but I'm trying to put as much reasonable, like arguments as to why that could realistically happen. So yeah, these are the three books. These two are obviously no brainers, because they're going to be on the cover. This one's a little bit of again, it's a personal item. His signature would be on the very last panel on the interior of the book. And again, it'd be coupled or tripled with Larry Hum and Mark Silvestri signatures, which we're targeting. Larry's we're going to have soon. Mark's, that remains to be seen when and where. But hopefully, again, we're with the larger profile of next year's Emerald City Comic Con. I think he'll be back for that event. So we'll see. But if we're to look beyond the three books for Jim and target maybe other books next in line for that next engagement, because again, every time we get an opportunity to get books signed by Jim, we're going to try to do it incrementally. And so the other two books I think we'd want this is my high school copy of 268. And I picked this up recently, but it's his trading card. Is that a beautiful image? The trading card Psylocke. So, boom. And I've got to give a shout out to Alex Bustos, who we had on the show, featured as sort of a both a community collector and artist. Her work is really incredible. She's a really fun, um, very knowledgeable uh, community member in terms of comic books, and I think she just has like a very good head on her shoulders. So I just really loved connecting with her, and she's in a couple hours away in terms of distance. She's over in Vancouver, so she's just a short ways away. But shout out to her. She is currently working on an original piece, commissioned work. Thanks to my bro Naman Young. Thanks for that. But she's working on a Psylocke piece for me, and we kind of, I didn't give her a lot of direction outside of just that I wanted Psylocke to be the character, and that I kind of wanted a lot of pinks and purples in in the uh, in the piece. So anyway, she said she's working on it as we speak, and she said she plans on finishing it and mailing it out this week. So I think I should get some kind of notification that it's been sent, and we should have, hopefully it's here by next week. So next week, um, there are a couple things to look forward to. One is a book. Again, I mentioned at the beginning, I have a book on its way, and we'll reveal that book and my intentions with that book as it pertains to all these like signing events. And then we'll also unbox Alex's original sketch, original artwork on the channel as well. Really looking forward to that, because I think it's going to be amazing. And that's it. So this was it's I love kind of just coming on here, sharing all this sort of exciting the plans I'm making, and okay, that's cool. I know he's been auctioning off a bunch of and he does this quite frequently because he, again, he creates a lot of, and that's what he does. He just sits down and he'll draw something, and he'll either auction it off or he'll keep it in reserve for some kind of cover art, or like every time he sits and draws something, that's money, whether it's money for charity or it's money for his bank account, or it's uh, money for like branding for the company, value for the company. He's doing a lot of sketching and artwork in his free time, right? I'm glad. I'm glad you did that. Um, yeah. Well, otaku. It's geek in Japanese. So, um, for those of you that didn't know, um, so yeah, I mean, he's been kind of auctioning off stuff, and I know he just announced something like he's doing an Instagram live. No, wait, what was it? It's like a streamed auctioning event, and you can actually bid and try to win some of the stuff he's putting out. But I mean, it's like incredible stuff. Um, you know, I think there was this Batman. It was a Batman piece. One of the pieces was this like incredible Batman, I mean, an image you've never seen before, right? Just specifically, he just created for this auction. Not on a cover, not anywhere on anything else. It's just individual to that event. A true like one of one piece, because it hasn't been, you know, uh, commissioned to be in any kind of commercial, like on any kind of commercial offering. So I saw that. I was like, man, that is, I so want that piece. I want to participate. And then I realized, but I'm auctioning against other people. I'd be out of that auction in like a second. Like I'd put in my bid, which is probably way more than I can afford. And then I get outbid, right? So those kinds of things are kind of fun to just dream about. Like, oh, what if I had won that auction, right? That piece was mine, but it's far from like a reality. So interesting. Rose City Comic Con is offering COAs for any autograph, and those COAs are costing $10 per autograph for an authentic. So just basically they're giving you like a certificate of authentication, but they're charging $10 for that at Rose City. I just read this right now. That's kind of weird to have to charge for a C. I mean, that's not going to be recognized by CGC, right? It's not like CGC is going to say, "Oh, well, yeah, if these guys authenticated it, we'll apply that in our slabs." That's not the way it works. So I don't see the whole point of that. But um, we're not going to take advantage of that anyway. I'm not going to get. There's really nothing. Maybe outside of the Peach, some of the Peach and Adam Hughes books, there's nothing I'd really want to get slabbed at this event. And even the Peach books, I already have a Peach slab, so I don't feel like I need to add more Peach slabs. Just having signed books would be good enough for me. But anyway, this was fun. I'm gonna kind of head to bed now. It's late, and so thanks guys for hanging out. Yeah, auction's gonna be great. And yeah, Damien, I'll see you in a few weeks if I don't engage with you on this channel before then. And again, K-pop, looking forward to jumping on your channel and checking out all the cool artists that you're featuring. Joe, thanks for always hanging out, man. Glad to see you in my circle of chats. And yeah, Agu, I'll again, if you're coming Friday, we'll all hang out. But even if you don't come Friday, this summer is going to be like pretty open in terms of like the weekday. So let's hit up Everett. I think you and I talked about going to the comic shop in Everett, so you can go there and pick up books. All right. Again, stay tuned. We're going to continue to update, and I think right now I've kind of exhausted this topic. I just continue to like rethink and rethink what I'm going to do, but I think I've settled on the books, the priority books in terms of signatures, the potential additional books we could get signed. And the big decision that emerged from this video is we're going to crack that baby. We're going to get not only the signature, but the Storm Shadow tattoo sketch. And then we're going to resubmit it to CGC and get the signed signature label. How cool would that be? So, sort of a work in progress, but we have the plan, the vision laid out. We're going to see it to fruition. So Stay tuned. All right. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.